feel like that very first map of the series had everything we could have wanted. We had, we had some crazy shots. We had some crazy util, crazy players. We got thrifties. We got the cinema. And we didn't get an overtime. We just get a natural, clean end to the game. It was some good stuff. Roy, I know when we're talking about the chaos, you were even tasked with a little bit of homework. Crazy stuff going on to that map, but like a worthy homework considering everything we saw. Blame Wyatt on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, per Wyatt's request for me specifically to be his quants, I've concluded that there was actually 6 thrifties, Wyatt, and actually 3 of them were for core, 3 of them were for Blue Otter, and I'll even add one more number in there for you, Wyatt. That's 25% of the round resolutions were thrifties in a 24-round game. So there's all that.
My favorite thing is that he wasn't even in the channel to actually hear all of that because he got banished into the other Discord channel. So he doesn't even know how well you slayed that assignment. But honestly, crazy stuff coming out from a crazy game here, Dan. Looking at this, we knew that this was going to be a close series. And at any point in time, I did not know which way this was going to go.
It was an insane back and forth, especially in that first half. The amount of therapy that, I mean, we just talked about, but also just the individual plays that you, like, half the time it was like, what is going on? Until it closes out towards the end. I think Wyatt said it after it was a tech pause and things got back to normal. I think a normal game of Valorant to close it out. There was a possibility if I was going to overtime, but I feel like if we didn't go this map of overtime, it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming soon.
Yeah, I think there's one thing I do want to point out though, aside from like, the brawls and the team fights that were happening consistently in this map, but there were some levels of like meta adaptations that Blue Otter was utilizing very well, and that's specifically the way they were using Yoru to constantly bypass the Vice utility, and they're really punishing Snarly on those site holds.
I mean, even just looking at like the amount that they had to give respect over to Zeldris, who you have the utility, you have the fact that he's capable of backing that up. And then some of the set plays too that Blue Otter had utilizing that, even looking at like that more B crunch and really being able to put that pressure on. So QOR having to be a little bit careful of that. But looking at the performance coming out from this players, I mean, Dan, there was a lot going on.
Yeah, and it turned out to be the easiest and most obvious highlights for the players, right? So we talked about Challengers and how he was going to perform today. We talked about Timotino as well, these 2 duelists, and that is, I mean, those are the 2 players that got and end up being at the top of each team. You see that 13-11, extremely close, and the reason why it was so close is, once again, these the experience versus the newer player, what was it that we were calling Timotino at the beginning? The classic duelist?
No, that's
Zeldris.
Oh, it was Challengers. Yeah. So playing exactly that way, 28 and 18, just going insane. And I think this is what we can expect for the rest of the series, these 2 players going against each other constantly.
I mean, going into the series too, I mean, my predictions was on Blue Otter, and I said too that I was never gonna not pick the team that had Zeldris and Bob. But I want to add on to that because I should say that I'm not going to not bet on the team that has Zeldris, Bob, Zolzol, Shondix, and Zeke, because across the board, everyone was able to step up. And on the other end, I mean, Timotino Roy was someone that we talked about a lot, but Darkus is somebody that there is a lot of consistency from. So that was really, really cool to see. But we'll talk about the top frags because, Roy is kind of a little deserved.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think the most interesting part is the fact that they're playing 2 different duelists, and the fact that they both had such high level of impact and just being set up so well by their teammates speaks volumes in terms of them being able to capitalize offset support, but also the fact that there's so many chaotic situations that they had to maneuver that literally came down to split-second decisions, and the fact that they both maneuvered it in their own kind of unique, special way it was really interesting to see.
And I mean, Timotino definitely put up a wonderful fight in the series that was so close. But talking a little bit more about Zeldris, because Dan, looking at Zeldris, like even from the get-go in the series, while everyone else was still in like single-digit kills on both sides, like Zeldris had like 16 kills. Some of these plays, like he was cooking.
Yeah, he was going insane. But again, this is not surprising at all. This Challengers has been doing it for quite some time. That's why we were hyping him up as one of the top 5 duelists that we have in Challengers right now. And I really don't know how he does it because, as Roy was saying, they were playing different duelists, one playing the Raze, the other and playing the Yoru. And getting away with the kind of kills that Challengers gets away with on the Yoru, it's just not easy to do. You look at other Yoru players, especially when they're pretty much playing by themselves. And, I mean, they often get taken down so fast. But for Challengers, this is just something natural.
I always love seeing good Yoru players because it just looks like impossible for the other team to be dealing with. And when you have that Roy, that classic duelist, just that good stuff duelist coming out here, I mean, it worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, bro is actually the default duelist archetype. Like, there's really just no way around it. It's so funny. But now I think the shout to the Yoru thing is a pretty interesting one, because Yoru can be a very chaotic duelist, right? Because you're teleporting into enemy territory, and it's sometimes hard to figure out where to allocate your crosshair, right? Because you're TPing in, there's so many angles that are open, and that's when like the support system that we talk so highly of comes in, right? Reducing the amount of positions to look at, making his job a lot easier. But Zeldris just looked very controlled, very composed the entire time. And even under the most stressful situations, it looked like he was in complete control, very calm, very cool, very collected.
I mean, it's definitely a core that was up for that fight, though. And I'm looking to see that fight go forward in the series as we start looking towards the second map in the series. The first map of the series, you know, going to split. This one was Blue Water's pick. So all is well in the world because Dan, core, now we're going to their territory.
And we're going to Pearl. This is interesting because we talked about how Split was not very good in general for this side of core. Before that time, they played this map. It was a 13-5. So now we see it got a little closer against a team that has been consistently good on the side of Blue Otter, has been consistently good on the map of Split. So I also want to see the improvements on this map of Pearl, their map pick, and also playing once again to talk about the qualification for playoffs. So it has to be good. I think we're all expecting this to go 3 maps. I just want to see how dominant core can be now that they're a little bit more warm up and they were able to look better on Split.
I'm excited yet again, not to just keep bringing up the duelists all the time, but I'm excited to see the duelist face off once again here, considering that if we see, you know, the trends continuing here, Roy, we'll see the Jets most likely for Timotino going up against the Yoru mostly, but you know, maybe we could see a swap there considering we haven't seen a more recent composition from them since Zeldris has been in. But heading into the agent select, I'm curious if we get to see that run back of the Euro, considering how successful it was, and it's what they've played before.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious to see this because the last time some of these teams played pro was actually quite a little while ago. Obviously Blue Otter being the one that played it more recently, but I think there is they actually, I was gonna say there's a potential they would swap up the duelist, especially with how popular Neon's getting, but no, they're gonna keep the Jets. It's gonna be Battle of the Jets here, the different meta, the Tejo coming in versus the old and established KO. It's going to be a good one, I think.
I thought we were going to see a compositional change here for the side of core because they continue to play with this Killjoy that is not the greatest, especially when you're playing against a Tejo on the side of Bob, who we already mentioned. She's only been playing the Tejo, knows exactly where you're going to be setting up the utility for Killjoy, and that is going to be something annoying to deal with for core.
Yeah, one last thing before going into this match. Roy, I know that you had something super important to say over to our friend Wyatt.
Yeah, I mean, since we're all just hiring quants on the spot here, I figured I would go ahead and just hire Wyatt to just let me know how many sheriff kills are going to be happening in the second map since he loves Thrifty so much.
Thank you. Very cool. I love that. So, yeah, Wyatt, I just want to say thank you again, not giving me and Dan any homework. Have fun with your own assignment. But it's time to head over to the second map of the series. See if Core can take this into a map 3. It's Pearl. It's Hooper and Wyatt. Have fun, boys.
I opened Notepad. I've got Notepad open. I'm ready to write it down.
That's brutal. I mean, you spent all week working for Doge, only to be told to keep track of even more wasteful spending in the game of Valorant, Wyatt.
Oh, my cat just bit my leg. What was that? There's a cat biting my leg, bro.
Oh my god.
Oh,
okay.
He's ran off. He just hit a devious lick. He just ran over,
crazy.
Bit me and ran away.
Literally sideswiped you. I think he's trying to send you a message, bro. He's trying to see you stop being...
I know he's hungry as hell.
Yeah.
Bro, I listen, I know he wants his beef and liver pate fancy feast, but that's gotta wait. I have to cast about. How do you think I pay for that fancy feast? It's with this. It's with this.
Well, listen, after 3 maps of this game, which I'm sure we're going to get in the end, that cat's going to be ravenous. But Core, bro, they're on some boomer type beat here with this Pearl composition, right?
No, they really are.
I think deadlock.
I think they thought the update where Tejo missiles don't break lockdown and take it to 5 HP. I think they think that we're on that patch. Yeah, no, they think they got it messed up. That patch isn't in the game.
Look, I guess you get, you know, really good early warning systems, but also, like, as you come across to a site like this, remember, like, you can get out of range of a lot of that util. So I'm curious to see how Snarly, like, tries to get optimum value. Shooting people in the face is a very reasonable way to do that. Snarly does open the account for the round. There's Darkest. Just a good old throwdown, folks. However, with Logan, the last player left, having to play out there from Link, it will be Blue Waters walking up on the A side, planting it down.
Some very clean shots from the Ghosts over on Blue Waters. Also crazy that we're watching a game of Pearl with no fades. No fades?
Dude, no Yorus. No Yorus.
Nothing? I mean, QOR, they are playing the 2023 Pearl composition.
No.
But even still, they're playing Fade then. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, surely we were seeing, even like late last year, we were in Berlin for GCC. They were playing the more modernized comp on this map. I want to say.
Just an honest throwback.
Okay.
Just an honest throwback against the Vice, which has proved to be fantastic on this map.
It was like she was made for it in terms of how her util lines up in some of these areas. But yeah, I mean, the Jet still preference here for Blue, even though Zeldris, we've seen them play the Oru. A very reasonable inclusion here, but a little tweak. And having the Sova instead of the Fade as well is a bit new. Well, not new. Quite the opposite, actually. Bob will be forced off this, buying a Marshall of all weapons here in round number 2. A very slow, stately affair, but that A side is open for the taking.
QOR trying to rotate here as fast as they can. Ghost nets the first kill. Few sheriffs for QOR. I'm paying attention to see if they get any kills on account of the homework assignment that I've been given.
Being told to, that's it. Really putting White to work, right? Okay, so dash across over towards dugout there. Nerve does get caught. Zeldris has to assume the Jet of Timatino has crossed. Snarly steps up. Will be sent back. That regen shield giving Zeldris a little bit more durability, but he'll die pretty quickly here under any sort of level of scrutiny. Ah, yes, the Marshal. Going to work here. Double time. Snarly, with just a sliver of health left, is dealt with by Zeldris.
That's one sheriff kill. But aside from that, not a whole lot of damage dealt over to the Blue Otter side.
Okay.
And they didn't invest a crazy amount into that either. They've just got the Guardians, which are nice for the long range on this map. Though I have a personal thing where I just hate the Guardian on anti-ecos. I really hate it. I feel like it's those situations where you have the Guardian, but then you're running into just multiple players getting up in your face, jumping around with classics.
Feels like it's as good as a sheriff, really.
Yeah, I'd rather have my little stinger in that situation, you know?
Yep. This works out, though. Again, we just had a couple rounds. That second round was a stack from QOR, so we don't read into that too much at all. This time, Blue are a little bit more insistent about pressuring this B side of the map, but the KJ util is more distributed around A, so... And more of a slower play here in Plaza. Note the Blue really aren't pushing. They're even outdrone into clear art, so... Very meticulous about that part of the map and definitely selling some presence. Spike is left way back.
By the way, because QOR bought so much on the second round, well, it might not even matter because Timatino just peeks and gets an insta-kill onto the Astra. No smokes for the hit on the long-range map. You love to play the Valorant game when that's the case. Really fun.
I mean, they have heavy armor against the Outlaw. I don't know what to tell you. They take a hit from Zeldris. Timatino survives it and is able to get one back. Very clean from Darkest. Clinical control there of Link.
The thing though, he's the only one with the heavy armor, by the way. He bought the Outlaw because everyone else bought Sheriffs on the last round. So everyone else has light. He just happened to run into the only heavy armor guy.
30 seconds left.
Alrighty. 2 players up here for Blue. Again, a little awkward. This is their bonus. Just so we're all up to speed. Zeldris has to try and pry QOR out of this site like a couple of pearls. It's going to be Darkest finding the third of the round here. Bob doesn't have any reason to really drag this out any further. And no use for a weapon like this into the next round. So if she's able to get a kill, she'd be happy. Looks like that is not to be the case. Darkest ends a nice little 4K round. QOR announce their entrance into the map with a flourish.
When I first started watching Darkest a couple years ago and was becoming really impressed by his play, it was actually a lot of KO at the time. It was really prevalent in the meta and with the map pool. It always felt like one where he was able to get that right balance of taking a lot of engagements, but additionally having that supportive utility at times. And of course, that is just what KO does offer to any player, but he was really maximizing that aspect of the kit.
Okay, now we get some fighting for A main here. So Teho useful to pave the way. Zeldris also tailwinding forward of it. So Blue Water have that part of the map. They actually have no art presence, no link presence at all. Perhaps we see that later on, but right now, they're kind of all in on this part of the map.
So Sol elsewhere over on B is just containing, as is Shandex towards mid. Fight for A main, fall back. And then it looks like they probably just want to work into, either the B hit or a B split with someone late, maybe trying to go through mid to link. But nope, Shandex, who was over there, just going to group up. They have to deal with Timatino again. This is where he found the first blood on the last round.
This time, a couple more one-shot weapons on the other side. Backing away, little shoulder check there. Unclear what they actually managed to see. The Armageddon's going to clear them out. Of course, though, they have to use a whole charge of Tailwind to get out of hole. So some side control now. Timatino in an awkward spot where they've got to try and fight on the move with his Guardian. Certainly uncomfortable. We have the post plant now and the retreat back up towards B long.
Core players stacked up towards the link, ready to try and get out off the drone tag. Here they come. Timatino gets that first.
They got that hold control. Nerve still, though, playing up from upper. At some point, though, Core need to push up. And they're doing it right now. Shondex waiting for them in halls. Ends up being a 2-for-2 still. And Bobby's on a pretty late flank. But, well, we got the util. There we go. Not needed. Zik is able to get the job done. And Blue Otters just drag the post plant out long enough to put that real-time pressure down.
Yeah, Bob was playing from Haven, so she could still launch the guided salvos while the null command was going off over on the site. And yeah, just literally does not matter. Blue Waters have a lot of annoying post-plant util with this comp. That is one thing where the Sova adds a little bit more on top that, the Fade doesn't really have. The Seas certainly can be, but you have all that additional Sova util that's very frustrating in that situation, or in those situations, rather. And Timatino loves standing on objects over on the B side, scoped in. That's just his thing, bro.
Your tone is so accusatory, isn't it? Normally
where duelist just loves it. No, I mean, it's just, he's always on objects.
Wow, this player has a real tendency to breathe once every 5 to 8 seconds. It's just bizarre.
I'm just noticing his
Are they even thinking about it, or is it just autonomous behavior? Who knows? What? The sun is coming up in the morning. Why? Inexplicable. It goes down in the evening and it gets dark. Don't get it, really. Just things that I notice. This guy, man.
Bro, my rate is not high enough to be dealing with this, man. It's crazy. It's insane. I gotta have a word with Ryan, man.
Yeah, let him know. I'm sure they're really, really interested in having that conversation with you. In the meantime, Core, not interested in trying to challenge his map. Someone told me to say this in the chat, so as this spike will go off, I must declare Uwu.
Well done. Well done selling out to the chat to get their approval.
Just working on the rate. You want to go to Riot? I go to the people. We're not the same.
Oh my God. Boo.
That said, though, that's a round, of course, Core have to back up and save here. You can see the money's in a really odd spot. And also, ultimate-wise, there's nothing that really, is going to shift things heavily in their favor. They're starting off these rounds, right, with Timatino, taking that, early angle towards B long. And some of them have worked out, right? This is a couple rounds ago. We got that nice little darkest round. I think they take a 3K, just really controlling Link. But a couple of these, post plants have been really hard to break, on this, fallback of the B side of the map. Timatino was forced out that round by an Armageddon. They had to go play through mid. And you see what the end result of that round was.
That Hunter's Fury, pretty annoying when you're playing in Link, I'll tell you that. It is quite tough to avoid.
Yeah. And we're thrown back here to this was the pistol round. Not just about this, folks. It was Blue Water just pushing up on that site. No particular chronological order to these plays. This was that second round, the anti-eco. The Marshall actually went to work.
Are you just in the Twitch chat right now, communicating with the people?
I mean, I was for a time.
Because I just...
Sorry, what
Just
part
see
of
a
it me?
screenshot
What part
in
of
the
it me
Discord,
saying
nothing.
"ooh" on a Valorant cast makes you think that I'm not taking outside direction of some sort?
No,
Do you
I
think
mean,
I just come up with that stuff?
I didn't know you were in there conversing. I just didn't know you were in there multitasking like that.
I've got that. I mean, you're on the parlays, bro. I'm handy with the people.
I mean, listen, if RJ Barrett does get a fifth assist, well, then now we're talking. No, kidding. Zeldris. Oh my God, bro! Not the eco again.
Okay.
Not the eco again.
Ends up being a 1-for-1. Timatino's still in a really awkward spot, but takes that kill, and I guess the backup, that presence here from Link, there's a cosmic divide in play that in theory is supposed to cut off Link, supposed to cut off Tower. It should have just been the Halls player, but it looks like QOR just pushed through that.
Yeah, that was some really nice proactivity from them. Just foregoing fear and not really giving a damn that their weapons were poor. They just know that they want to fight together when players are trying to get past that wall. That was nicely done. They have enough cash to even get an off into this next round as well. Just set up good crossfires here. Look at this flood. It's so nice.
That was beautifully done, especially in a potentially oppressive situation. Great retake from QOR. That's a really important round to take. It gives them a staging ground here to try and bring the game back. Timatino buys the op in this round, takes it over to the B side, but there's no action there. It feels like Blue Water realized the jet could be an issue. Instead, they want to play up close, but Logan wants to bully onto the site. This is working beautifully, and this isn't even QOR anchoring so much as just taking their opportunities. Blue still haven't had a plug yet. The spike is actually in an awkward spot. Hunter's Fury now as well. I don't think Blue have an option.
That even tags onto Shondex.
Okay, what's the plan supposed to be? Yeah, that turret, hey, might be the best use of Killjoy's kit specifically we've actually seen in this game. Not saying much, but definitely notable there. And QOR able to win 2 rounds in a row here was no style with nothing but a Spectre. Not the kind of thing we even care much about saving, really, but they're out of there.
At least they have the regen shield. Back up to 37.
That's, that's true.
Right?
Yeah. The regen shield goes a long way in situations like that. Not.
QOR had all 5 players over on the A side about 20 seconds into that round, by the way. They just had the quickest of rotations to just fight and dismantle the Blue Otter. Is it Blue Otter or Blue Otters?
Blue Otters, right? Am
I
I crazy?
keep thinking back
Blue
and
Otters,
forth,
yeah.
but why would it be
No, Blue
Why would
Otter.
it be?
Straight up just Blue Otter.
Yeah, and
They
that's
are
why I'm confused because
collectively,
why is
it's
it
like a
just one
Voltron of-
Blue Otter?
It's like a Voltron of small water-faring mammals. I thought it would be a collective, but okay.
And that's why I keep getting confused when I'm about to say their team name out loud. No matter which way I say it, I feel like I'm getting it wrong every time. But now I know for sure.
Yeah, Blue Otter. It is. Ooh, okay. The Sheriffs? Timatino finally gets an operator into play now. They took it over here last round and just didn't get any action. This time, though, they are going to be busy. Ob's pushed right up against that Nebula. What? Shondex on the size! Oh, Timatino's under a lot of pressure now. Here's that steel guard, but Bladestorm works around it. Shondex still eventually able to bring the jet down, and we have a 2 versus 2 and some time for Blue Water to make a play, but there needs to be a plant. There needs to be some good post-plant positioning, and it has to happen within the window of this util. That's so much to ask.
They've recovered 2 weapons. Operator for Zeldris. What angle is he going to try to hold here? It's tough. It has to pick between lower heaven. The Shock Dart is going to get a free kill.
They got the plant. Zeldris now forced to clutch. You wouldn't be a 3D printed duelist without winning rounds like this. It's always a character from like a really cheap shonen. Like, 7 Deadly Sins is not the most deep show. I'm going to be honest with you, Zeldris. Could have done better. Never able to take him down there. Nice little shock dart play from QOR. And in fairness, this is a sheriff round for Blue Water, so not being too hard on him for it, but QOR have gotten into this game again.
I mean, you're getting mad at me for being antagonistic, and here you are, 1v2 clutch, just going in on this.
Oh, it's not the play, not the gameplay. Not an issue with that.
For his anime choices.
Yeah, it's very
1v2. Make sure to let him know he has bad taste in anime.
I mean, listen, that situation. I mean, you're 1v2 with an op in a post part, in fairness, but it's very hard to win. Look, 7 Deadly Sins is, it's kind of like Babby's first shonen. Do you know what I mean? At least their profile picture, I think, is Killua from Hunter x Hunter. So, like, that's kind of based.
That's a gamer standard. That's truly the gamer standard.
It's always the same. When it's game day, they tweet game day, and it's the picture of Killua walking into a crater with his hair all like flying up. It's like, okay, now it's getting real.
Do people still post that one? That one was
but I remember like young Arsena being a big fan of that one.
No, I mean, every time before you were going to play the Pulse Invitational lower bracket final in the Ignition series, you had to post that GIF that it was game day. That was very 2020 and 2021 Valorant.
That's right. Oh, man. So we have an even game here all of a sudden. It's pretty clear to see both teams are really hoping to be very impactful with these first kills with the op. They both brought Jet into a map where we see much more of that Yoru flavor these days. And Timotino kind of exemplifying that playstyle. This time, though, they've actually taken the op over towards A main. So trying to mix it up. Blue, though, a full default setup here with the spike left back behind them. So they're hoping to dig some action here out of B, but they're probably expecting the Jet to be here.
Sosol's trying to press up pretty far forward to play off of the stealth drone, which isn't going to get shut down. The radius of the 0 point not far enough, so that's some valuable information towards Hall's gain for the attackers.
Okay, once again, though, I'd be afraid of Darkest if I was Blue. They are ready to flash themselves out here onto the site. Zeldris gets in, though. Cloudburst gives them the cover. Logan playing close. Zeldris around the corner, wins it out. Nerve is down. Looks like a recon bolt was thrown out there, and Logan's able to peter in and get a very solid kill. This is nice, but Darkest actually gets pushed on there by Zostal. Player advantage here for Blue. And now, of course, all the usual smokes, they cover up tower, the one way that Timotino can't dream of fighting through. He's going to have to wait by tunnel.
Drone reclears into Link. That's going to give a good position here to Zostal to play a bit of a crossfire, perhaps.
Oh, there's no Teho? Value?
That's unreal. Lockdown is up top. Zeke thinks it's in heaven.
He doesn't know. Oh, I love this. Spotted out by Zeldris, and he tries to blow it up. Taken down. There's the lockdown, comes off, but Zeke is playing off the site. Not caught inside the detention field. Standing ahead. This is a problem. There they are. Recon thrown out. Both players allowed themselves to be pinged. Timotino's ready for it, though. Because I don't mind being lit. I have you in my sights.
I'm getting motion sickness. Thank you for defusing and getting away from that. That was a pretty sick retake. And the lockdown. Oh, the lockdown.
The lockdown.
Razzle dazzle. Like, normally it would be in heaven there. And Zeke. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. None the wiser.
That was awesome. Honestly, like the position of the lockdown there forces to swing into 3 players. Zeke doesn't have the ability to clear it. All of that, I mean, it's obviously you don't expect the lockdown to be placed out in the open. And look, you're guessing at the approximate location of it. This is what I talked about with sort of how you want to break conditioning early and often in Valorant. Zeldris on this attack side, and look, defense side is normally where we see the Jet pick up the op and start to lock down that B side of the map, but Zeldris has struggled a little bit despite getting into halls with relative frequency. There's an argument to be made. This is why Yoru is so preferred on this map, because they can get deep into halls. They can also gate crash across the map and sort of apply pressure elsewhere pretty easily. Blue Water are not really looking to make use of art here either. They are attacking the extremities against a team that has been holding an operator for like 3 or 4 rounds now.
And Timotino has been finding a hell of a lot of value with it. Core looking pretty good. Pretty good as we go into the tech pause. What do you think what do you think caused the tech pause? Do you want to add that to your parlay?
Oh, yeah. Tech pauses are, over under 2 in this game.
What do you think that causes? I'm going with I'll go with lag again. Oh,
Okay, lag is pretty good.
we got ping issues. That's lag adjacent, right? That has to be. I mean, that's basically that's what
lag.
that is. That's what that is. All right, 1 minute or less. So I've been told.
Well, in chat's being asked, when do rankers play next? Rankers are, how do the kids put it? Bing chilling. They don't play until playoffs because they've got their 4 wins and they did it in record time. 4 wins, 0 losses through the Swiss stage. So playoffs don't kick off until March the 10th. And you'll see rankers in those upper quarterfinals with top seed.
1 week away. Some say by then they won't be called rankers anymore, Mitch.
Ah, that's based. Okay.
Some say they may be sponsored by a team.
They are that good, honestly.
Maybe the Houston Outlaws, perhaps.
Yes, great to see the Beasley Media Group get back into esports. Like that wasn't a... You're trying to... I see you tried to do that. You tried to trigger me. All right. I'm familiar with your game now. Look, rank is 113 round wins to 62 round losses, 8-1 in maps. So they are, far and away one of our top teams here. And these two are looking to join them in our playoffs. 1 win for either of them in the series. We'll get them there.
This is a good position from Timotino. Dodges out on the flash, and it looks like he'll have an opportunity to get a first kill into the round, and might go down depending on how aggro he's trying to get, and perhaps a little bit too aggro.
Yeah, that one was not ideal. In fairness, look at how far they had pushed up, and Blue were perfectly set up for that. 4 players stacked up for a push. Frankly, I haven't seen that play really from QOR this whole game. So I don't know how they've read that, but pretty brilliant if you ask me. Now that they've got that A-side control, Logan goes down. This is getting a little bit dicey here for QOR, but they have that arc controller part of the map, like I mentioned earlier. Why Blue have not really been looking to control. But this should set them up with a pretty comfortable post plant. Cosmic Divide in play, cutting off both Secret and Flowers. So QOR really have to take some risks to get onto the side, but they have that art position coming through from Link now. Zostal under a lot of pressure. Snarly popping off on the KJ. More of those valued lockdowns to come, I'm sure. Oh, Bob. Oh, okay. Util's turned off here for Bob. Being suppressed means they can't stop this defuse, even if they had the stall util, and they did. A massive 0 point comes out, catches onto the Tejo, and shuts the contingency for Blue Water down.
Blue Water were in such a good position to win that until they let someone slip through the Cosmic Divide and shoot one of their art players in the back. They had 2 of them that essentially had Snarly trapped at the little drop from Link to art. But then one of them got shot in the back. Then Snarly gets an actual 1v1, honest duel, wins it. And then from there, it just cascades into a round win. That was looking so good for Blue Water. Pretty tragic.
All right, well, here we go again. This time towards the B side of the map. Oh, there's an Outlaw in play here. And that was beautifully done. Bob did not have that heavy armor. Still,
Pulling them in.
that is an Outlaw dropped in a position that in a post plant can potentially be recovered. There is a hero rifle for Zeldris.
Blocking vision.
Smoke in the face. No, awkward. Oh, no. Okay, still one for Zeldris, so there were 2 players in Hall. Still one of them left. I'm sure Blue Otter is aware of this, but Zeke only has the Sheriff to work with. Hey, we like upgrades here. And it looks like Nerve is going to play safe. Actually, give up that Hall's position and allow Zeke to get in and shoot them in the back of the head. Still no plant. But there's no shock darts here, no util to interrupt a potential plant. This Owl drone also very timely. Forces Timotino off an angle. With 45 seconds left, you can try and sneak off the side or get into Link. I love this! The shorty descends! And Timotino is not able to connect the shot. That's thrifty here for Blue Water.
I loved everything about that play, except for the missing the shots. If that didn't happen, that would have been really sick. That was a really cool maneuver to try and get in like that, isolate the planter. An NT, but We're back to Eco City. And Blue Water on an attempt to tie up this half before we head into the second with them on defense.
Okay, we've had a really competitive game. This is unfortunate. Now, Nerve is not quite able to strike before Zeldris finds one. Again, just pushing up onto the side here. Hey, nice little angle variation there for Timatino. One that only the Jet can really muster. There's one reason why you take your Vigor. Easy kill on Zostall. Blade Storm for Zeldris. God, the audacity on this guy. I just love the lack of self-preservation that we see from this Jet play. And there goes Darkest. Another Nebula comes up and the Shock Dark lands Timatino. All right, fine. Tied game at half.
God.
Fine. Totally fine by me.
And that is Core going for their standard flood back in fast as hell that they had done all defense, which got them a lot of round wins, but there, man, Blue Water were set up for it. Taking all of those fights as a team, and Zeldris looking so sick on that entry. This is a hell of a close game. Both teams are really firing on all cylinders. The individual play looking clean, man.
Thoroughly enjoying it. You know, we're getting to see like the Killjoy versus the Vice and see like there's some viability to bringing the Jet back in, and even like the Killjoy, like Stanley's done fantastic, you know, on that agent, despite obviously some of the challenges that KJ faces at the moment. On defense here, a chance for Zeldris to really put his mark on the game, though.
Zeldris is pushing up A main on the opposite side of the map. They're taking that extremity. Zostall just jiggle peeks for info and got a lot of information that came with the sacrifice of 112 health.
Shield wall triggered in theory. What? Okay, Shock Dart there right into the, look at the corner of the B side.
So many Shock Dart kills in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often we see the Sovas just do so much. I mean, we went into the Sovas on this map, right? Normally it's the Fade. Kind of like that throwback a little bit to the previous era of Pearl. So Core are cutting noise entirely. They're hoping someone pushes off the B side, someone leaves it to go elsewhere. Such a big map. There are 4 lanes on Pearl, remember that. And so Blue do have to split themselves relatively thin for a 2-bomb site map. Now the fast push coming back into this. I like the little cancel call there for a time. But Shondex able to stand their ground. That's the Jet down. And also, Darkest got pinged out by that recon.
30 seconds left.
Shondex eventually down. Another Shocky.
Oh my God.
Another Shocky for Zeke. So much of that action here in this round. We got a 3v2. Logan with the plant. Zeldris takes the timing, wins it out. Nerve swings out into the open. Not a great sign here for Core, but they can still win it. Logan backs off here. Zeldris wants to take the fight and gets wall banged down. Both players take hits. Zeldris wins it out. What an important round to take. Blue Otter get the pistol and get to 7.
That little Shock Dart play back hole was so nerdy and so cool. Like there was the Shock Dart all the way to the far left of halls, and then the missiles pushing the player into the next Shock Dart. So Zeke knew exactly what the timing was to throw the Shock Dart out where the player would be running straight into it. That was very cool to just get a free kill back there. Shondex played this really well despite being hit by the 0 point, by the way.
Oh yeah, they were suppressed. Lovely moment from Zeldris. That one could generally go either way. Really close game so far. But Blue Water have earned themselves the right here to bring some more powerful weapons into the game. And we know Zeldris. We saw this last year when Ascent was in every bloody series. They would get a scope weapon as soon as they could. Zostall has full A main control. That's nerdy stuff there from Zeke. They give away their position though, and Snarly takes a chance.
Did get some damage onto Darkest with that spam, I believe.
Okay.
I want some up off that information. Oh my God, the util. This is so aggro. Y'all can play safe. You have better weapons. Get out. Maybe you can chill.
That is a Blue Water round I eco for. You don't forget. I will never forget Bob pushing off the A side on split with a Marshall trying to no-scope people in round 2. But there's precedent for this ridiculous behavior. That was dirty from Logan. 3 on the round. I'll take an Outlaw. Thank you very much. And I'm going to take the bomb B side, I think.
There is a silly, strange world where Logan wins this because they have an Outlaw and a Hunter's Fury. But do we live in it, Mitch? Is it this world?
That would be... God, that would be absurd here. on the anti-eco for Core to stop Blue completely running away with this game. Zostal and Bob obviously grouped up here. Logan down to 9. It's dicey. It's scary. 4 kills, and now the salvos come in. Logan, you thought they had a spot. There was a little bit of a gap in that Venn diagram, and yet they put a toe too deep. Taken down by Bob's util. And Blue, frankly, get off easy.
There have been so many util kills in this game, man. Between the Sovas and the missiles.
Should have told our quants to track those, honestly.
Yeah, for real. I already forgot I needed to track the sheriff kills. Hopefully there's still only been 1. Oh, wait, 2, 3.
You are cooked.
4.
You are cooked. Logan got 3 that round.
There's
man.
4 in the game. There's been 4 in the game.
You try to tell me after there's only been 4 after that many rounds? No,
Yeah,
mate.
there was 1 on round 2 and then 3 on round 14, but that's it. There are surely no kills between those round 2 and 14 with the sheriff.
No, you're pulling my leg, mate. Okay, 0 point here on the site would shut down any of this Astra util to further stall, so that's a pretty effective connection. Blue Water, though, are still able to hide behind this nebula, so that was up already. And they realize, okay, because Blue Water didn't fight for that sort of A-main control, they will give that over to Core. Mind you, a very close round. Blue Water's money isn't exactly in the best spot, so this is a very dodgy bonus round for them.
Yeah, they're on an effective eco as their bonus. Stealth drone re-clears towards Art. Does get the spot on Timotino.
Right. Is that slow Art clear? Blue pretty adamant that this is going to be an A play, and of course they are, because Zeldris has pushed all the way up this B side of the map.
Yeah,
Can
and
they
with the
pull off
stealth
this
drone,
angle safely?
with the stealth drone getting that spot as well, they don't feel like there's any real reason to move. And if the core squad goes link, there's going to be a wall there. And
30
well,
seconds
what do you know?
left.
They're going link, and the wall's been activated.
And there's not a lot for Zeldris to see here from this long position, and they're going to be pinched. That's the problem. There's nowhere to hide for them now. And they had better be sharp on this. Oh, buddy. Yep, you knew it was coming, Zeldris. Nice call there for Core. Still, they're going to have to defend against this. There is a Guardian in play, but the whole site covered here by the attackers. And they fall back to safe post-plant position with Nerve left in reserve. Hiding inside halls.
Yeah, wait, what? That recon didn't actually spot him there?
Yep, I think they got on the corner somehow, Wyatt.
I killed you.
And this should be a pretty systematic deconstruction. Blue Water's corporeal forms.
Remaining.
Bob finds the 1, and that will be that. Core get themselves around here. And again, it wasn't a great bonus for Blue Water. They could buy up in the next, though, and Zeldris looks like they're saving for an op.
Could have been a fair amount of damage done. There was a couple weak players. The Outlaw did connect onto Timotino. Snarly was forced down to half HP from Zeldris as well. But ultimately didn't result in much. About as clean as Core could have hoped for.
Enemy remaining.
Having to deal with that Outlaw over at long. Set up to get their economy in a decent place here.
Ooh,
At least going to
fast
have
hit.
another buy after this, yeah.
I don't think Blue Water can really fight this. 0 point gets thrown down early, and Core actually don't hit that as fast as we maybe expect.
No, they slowed down any ideas of pressure towards A main. It's just Nerve trying to contain that area of the map while their Sova drone over towards B long gets the space that they're trying to gain.
Okay, Zeldris got forced off this angle by the Owl drone initially. I think Core's protocol for dealing with the jet at B long is probably a little better than what we saw from Blue Water, who got picked off a lot by Timotino. They do, of course, have plenty of smokes to work with, and that's great exploration there by Zeke over towards the Art side of the map, and Zeldris' patience kind of betrays him. Now, we're going to have an ult command fast hit over towards this B side of the map. Armageddon in play to hopefully slow the attackers down, but many of Core have already gotten here. Zeldris on the corner, down to Timotino. That's the operator now going loose. All of Blue Water stuck inside, Link behind this grenade, and oh, buddy, it's about to get ugly. Zeke and Zostal. The ladder release coming through from tunnel. Zeke challenges the smoke and finds a timing. That's huge. Will they get away with this? It doesn't look like it. Blue Water shut out. And they deal with the jet over at B, first and foremost, making it so Zeldris can't get any value.
Core are doing a great job in the post plants, getting forward, fighting some of these positions together. Nice crossfires by getting deep into halls. Nicely dealt with the remaining Blue Water players there at the end. And even without that, it's just the players getting caught alone. No one can help Zeldris in that situation. And Darkest is just so good on this KO, finding the two towards Link after forcing them back with the nade. He's playing really well, getting the high impact kills.
What a game this has been. Obviously, this is QOR, who are fighting to take us to a third map. Fighting to just shore up their qualification for playoffs now, as opposed to having to do it at a really dicey 3-3. Well, Blue here are really stacked up on this part of the map. This is the kind of thing that can obviously be spotted out by an owl drone, but it's only Darkest on this part of the map. If they can sell anything, you can expect this to basically be an open and shut round, which is what I would say about any team that wasn't Blue Otter with a bunch of sheriffs. 0 Point doesn't spot anything, so no one. This might actually lure QOR into the trap. Leaving no one in halls could be big. There goes Zeke. Smoke comes down here. Blue might group up and try and play through this, but that fragment's going to make it hard to do it anyway. Darkest overwhelmed. There's a chance to recover a rifle here, and all of QOR get the heck out. Rifle should go over. Hunter's Fury, though, was something they might have looked to rely on, and Zeke was the player that fell.
And now they have Snarlates to try and cut off the rotates in spawn. Should be able to easily get one, if not two, if not more.
Just one. Rifle
that's
recovered
not
now.
the best, yeah. Really not the best 1-for-1 giving them a rifle.
Zeldris, though, walks that corner. Straight walks it. Shot next with a rifle. Okay, Operator there. Timotino will end the round. Operator going to the attack side. Jet. Blue Water try and stack a sight. Almost managed to get away with it. Decent economic damage, really. But now, I need to see this Jet Operator on defense do some work.
We have seen, not very often, but there were a couple rounds where Timotino picked up the attack operator as a duelist, did it on split, and was able to find a really good first blood kill then. So we'll see if they can do the same. We'll see how they try to slow the pace of the game down around him, allow him space to work the map, try and find that opener for them. Or if they'll just end up running into Zeldris and we'll get the op-v-op duel.
Really deep recon there. The Blue Water have that A-main control now, and in theory, you should be able to leave the Astra behind. Yeah, this is the interaction we're, I think, watching closely wide. Zeldris gets one this time. Goes low in that exchange, but really narrows down the possibilities for where QOR might be coming from.
Yeah, Snarly's just too scared to swing that wide because of the position that Bob was just in. Could have just gotten easily punished by her, so feels that they have to play it more passively, wait for the rest of the team to group up and play off Timotino's op. He gets on a good angle.
A recon here. A little uncomfortable. Timotino trying to walk the corner. Here's Bob. She's in the game now. Zostal wins out a very important fight against Nerve, and hey, going to stay tit for tat in terms of our rounds, folks. Talk about two evenly matched teams. Logan has to be careful not to move, but God, to stand still is a death sentence, as evidenced by Zostal swooping in to end the round.
And at no point in this series has it ever felt, for even an instance, that one team was in control. It's been the definition of back and forth. Like, even when there's been a string of rounds going one way or the other, they have all come down to like 1v1s, 1v2s, just like the closest situations. That was must win, though, for Blue Water. Their economy was fully on the line for that round 18, and now they can get back in the game. Still have that off on Zeldris.
Still sitting on that Hunter's Fury as well for Zeke. And to tip the scales in a round like this could be important because, yeah, like you mentioned, the money, of course, not great. Never really got it stable. And Zeke is so annoying. God, playing this part of the map. Refusing to really give an opportunity for a first kill to be taken by QOR, and then Bob sort of being here to swing off a bit. Oh, ugly stuff! A really wide swing there for Bob. Able to take two, and ultimately smoke clears, and Blue Water have the advantage after that exchange, and a spike down in Art is a big problem for QOR.
2 rounds in a row now where Bob has picked up multi-kills, just anchoring Art. Crucial impact from her in that position to again put QOR at this disadvantageous situation. And Blue Water even want to push out of A main with 2 players at the moment, wrapping all the way around.
Retreat.
Not a bad way to make the best of this situation. Hunter's Fury
You had your 30
in
seconds left.
reserve for Zeke.
This
Cosmic
is-
Divide.
They
That
are
could be either side.
convinced that they're working B.
Yeah, the Cosmic Divide doesn't
Absolutely
actually give
convinced.
anything away. That is really well placed by Nerve. It's reasonable to expect that to cut off Halls as well.
How do Blue Otter approach this now? Zeke is just alone. No players are grouped up together. This could unravel if the 1v1s don't go the way of Blue Otter.
Wait, there's the timing here though. Zeke gets through Art. Darkus gets off that position. The timings aren't really lining up here, and Shondex is going to see Nerve. Well, it gets unraveled, and it's really just the threads of fate that undo Core. Darkus has to go big here, try and disrupt with the fragment. Okay, we didn't get it half. But as you can hear, plenty of time left in the round for Blue to get ahead.
That situation really could have gotten scary for Blue Otter on account of none of the three players were grouped up together. But what was working in their favor was the unlikelihood of having multiple players pushed out of A main earlier in the round, which is why Nerf is just like, the hell, why am I getting shot in the side from a main flank right now? All of his attention was focused forward, and for good reason. But yeah, again, this is just great anchoring from Bob here. What more can you say? It's just the players fighting together, and she's the one connecting shots coming up for them.
Okay, still a buy here for Core. Yeah, Zeldris actually had to pull the Blade Storm in that last fight. That's how much value Blue put on that round. Still, you've got everything else for the others. A fast hit though behind an Alchemist wouldn't go astray, and looks like that's going to be the play. If there is enough link control here for Core, they will descend upon that B side. Can they get ahead of this? No. Here's that Alchemist. So your Astra is out of the fight for the time being in terms of being able to pop any util whatsoever. Awkward now, the pinch coming out of the side. Wogan finds one. The Zosol's gonna fight. No abilities, no problem. They get in there with the Vandal and take some key kills. Guardian claims them, but Zeldris finds the trader now. Link control goes to Blue Otter. And of course now, primary weapons jammed up for the attackers. This is a scary moment for Core. Logan's forced to push forward into Zeldris' sights. And Core may have lost their grip on this game.
Zosol really comes up fighting on the site there. And it honestly just made me have some flashbacks thinking about their play on the SAD Esports team last year with Bob and Darkest, where that was their first time IGLing for a team in Challengers, the best team that they had played on up until that point. And individually is where it seemed like they were having the most struggles, hanging with the rest of the players in the server at the time. But I felt like today on the prior map and here, there have been more moments of important individual kills coming from them. Like, despite being at the bottom of the board, anchoring there was huge. There have been those moments when required.
Here, of course, this is a pretty important fight here. A full three-player swing with that Nebula really cutting things off for Core. And half of them to trade officially into that part of the map. And here, this is the 2v3. That inflection point of a round. I love this from Zosol. They do end up going down as they push into link base, traded instantly by Zeldris. And then there's a Steel Garden, which feels like one of the more impactful uses of that Vice ultimate that we've seen.
Absolutely. I mean, if you just compare on this map the Steel Garden to KJ's Molly, I mean, that's not even a comparison. It just clears.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to see how Vice has become the preferred option in terms of Sentinels here. But as I say that, there's a lockdown. One that is obviously an endangered species in the Tejo era.
Or, Razorvine, rather. I keep saying Steel Garden, but Razorvine.
And
But,
filaments.
yes,
Oh,
the filaments.
Oh, they've got to go for a bit of a schmeek play there, Wyatt. I get it, but geez. That's how you're going to break open the round. It does not pay off. Now a minute left. Core have the option to bounce back, but look at how far up Link Zeldris has gotten. We'll be able to hear any running through Plaza. Blue are actually trying to preempt this and rotate off the side early. I can understand why, but well, they're going to find out probably sooner or later that that is not necessary. And this does leave Zeke a little exposed.
Yeah, he is the one aspect of this defense that is just a little bit out of place. You can see that by the minimap, but they find the timing to back up now. Crucial. And they've got the recon in hands too, so when the hit comes in, could throw that up. Maybe get a spam kill when the smokes go down.
Concealment.
They come, but get rid of a player out on the side. It's Darkest. So it's all suppressed, also caught inside a Nano Swarm. First time we mentioned that word this match. Now I'm going to go for a plant, but Blue Water are poised. They are circling. They are vultures, and they are ready to devour. Boom, in a second. The round goes up in smoke for Core. Blue get to match point.
So they're still just able to get back to the site and play together for that flood perfectly. It was that Zeke reposition and having the right util to get back in together. The Nebula's down with the recon going down as well. Bob comes in to help. Blue Water are looking pretty clean again. Sort of similar towards the end of Split. It seemed like everything came together as the game was coming to an end, is when they really strung rounds together, had some of their best play. I feel like we're seeing that again now on Pearl. As things have gotten close towards the end, they step up.
Okay. Big ultimates here that could really change the way this game flows. Timo obviously made use of the Blade Storm in the previous round and did not get any result. Our drone here, Zelda sees it, has to respect it, stays posted up. Tailwind though, it's going to get them out when they start to get contact. Another shot. God, the audacity! 3 posts up on the angle for Zeldris, and Bob is going to be there to follow it up. Here comes the Armageddon that is going to force Core out into a very awkward position, and Zeldris puts a cap on it. That is going to be Blue Otter making their way into playoffs, and once again, the Core haters have been justified.
And first of all, you got to give massive credit to Zeldris in that series. Also, you got to feel like Blue Water just comp diff them on Pearl there. Their comp is just straight up better. Aside from that, though, this is just such a cool roster at the moment. Having Bob and Zeldris together kind of leading the charge for this team and certainly leading them with the fragging. Like, that is a sick duo to have, and it's really made Blue Water one of the most exciting teams to keep your eye on from this point forward in Challengers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, this is quality roster. I think they've really been able to level up and just some star power really shining on this team. Whereas we've talked about Core in the past. I think Roy referenced it, like the no star player approach to them, which is all well and good. They gave us a really good game. I really would suggest that round that Timotino heads over towards that A site with the Blade Storm, trying to just brute force a solution there for Core is where they kind of lose their grip on the game. It's tough to see it go this way, but they're not eliminated from playoff contention. It does get a little bit harder here at 3-3, but remember, if your losses come against those more quality teams, then that serves you better when it comes to breaking tiebreakers and such. So not the end of the world, but definitely it's going to be a tough pill to swallow for this team. A lot to talk about today. That game, I really felt like we had another map in us, Wyatt. Felt like they could have gone a little bit longer, but we're done for the time being. We're going to take a break. A fever dream that series was. We're going to look back over it with our desk in a moment. So don't go too far, guys. This has been your VCL NA. Only one of the last game days here as teams are trying to make those playoffs.
Just becoming happier again, and just like wanting to do this out of like passion and like having fun rather than like some misplaced sense of like, if I'm not on the stage, then like Like, is this like worth it as much, right? Like, is putting in all these hours worth it as much? But to, you know, get to that point, like I need to continue, you know, grinding and staying accountable, you know, staying positive, staying happy, enjoying the process. And then if it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
No one is going to do the work for us. No one is going to come save us or help us get across the finish line. It's all about us, the time we put in, the quality of our work, you know, how serious we take it. We can be as good or as bad as we choose to be. It's not up to anybody else.
We don't have the luxury of having the experience like they do, right? We're all super young players, and it's something that we just have to learn to accept and, you know, just take it as in our identity.
Ignoring the public criticism, or just believing in yourself and betting on yourself all the way through.
This year, I just want to kind of write my own story. Something that I wasn't really able to feel like I could do last year was like kind of be exactly who I want to be and be the team that I exactly wanted to be. I was always trying to like fit into a mold. I'm really hoping that I do a good enough job for my teammates, that I'm able to make them feel comfortable and make them like actually feel included in this whole process.
Play my own game. In these matches, people get kind of nervous, so playing careless, playing to your strength is always good.
Go fast alone or go far together, because at the end of the day, like we can all, like everyone on our team can shoot, everyone can use their mic, but if we aren't playing together, we aren't going to win.
Don't stop grinding, but also be productive with the time that you have. I mean, it's very short, you know, to play in Valorant Esports. Make the most of it and make sure that, you know, you just have fun. If you're not having fun, why are we even here?
I feel like my team's motto recently is I just have to peak. And so I feel like if we carry that on for the rest of the year, we'll be owning. I feel like we just need to peak more and be more alpha. And I feel like that's what we need to think about.
I took on like a new role, and I need to be like okay with failing sometimes. I like hold myself way too hard sometimes. And yeah, I need to be okay with sometimes losing.
Well, we are definitely in for some fun Valorant, but unfortunately not for a map 3, or fortunately, depending on who you're rooting for in the series, as Blue Otter to take the second map down in Pearl and send themselves a playoff 2-0. I mean, Dan, going into this, okay. I wasn't going to bring it up right away, but I see the smile on your face, so I'm going to. You and Roy had some big words, and I just got to say, you were wrong. That's it.
And you know what? It's fine. I accept that this time, but only this time, I lost the prediction. Only this time, never before and never again. So it's all good. It's all good.
I would also like the public to know for officially that I don't think I've gotten a single prediction right. So if I predict your team, just know that you're most likely going to lose your match. I apologize to all future teams. It's just, it is what it is. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That just reminds me of Pancakes like getting on you for not rooting for them, and then you don't want Roy predicting for your team, but
yeah, you guys should be thanking me now. I'm not predicting your team.
Yeah.
Genuinely. But talking about the series, I mean, my reasoning for going with Blue Otter is I would not bet up against Zeldris and Bob, and there are two people that really got to showcase that. But it was not just them that was able to. It wasn't just the Bob and Zeldris show. Across the board here, Dan, we did get to see everyone kind of step up, and it was really nice to see this from the team too. I mean, this team, it gets a little chaotic sometimes, it gets a little wacky, but they're able to still pull it through.
Yeah, and I think you bring up one of the biggest points why they were able to win, right? Challengers and Bob have been incredibly good. We talked about Bob and how she's been only playing the Tejo, absolutely nothing else, and that sets up for some amazing plays for the team. And on top of that, Challengers being one of the best duelists that we have, just everything worked out so well. But I think what was really the difference maker was the differences in compositions here on this map of Pearl, where you're seeing a side that's playing the Killjoy. It just seems very outdated. You're not able to get some momentum towards the end, and things kind of slip through the fingers of QOR. And yeah, they're not eliminated. They have one more match to play, but you wanted to make it to playoffs today.
It would have been nice. It would have been easier for them to just clean it up today instead of having to fight it out tomorrow. But with how they played in the series, even though it was still a 0-2 loss for them, definitely, Roy, I think they should be holding their heads held high going into tomorrow, because yeah, it was still a really good series.
Yeah, I mean, the series came down to the absolute wire. I do have like some looming question marks, specifically with the first map and the amount of thrifties that we've seen. I feel like there should not be that many of thrifties happening in a single match. But aside from that, though, I think overall they had a very clear game plan. Both teams had, you know, some idea of how they wanted to approach the maps. Obviously, the level of like how refined Blue Otter was, specifically with the Tejo, with the Sova on the Pearl map, was beautiful to watch. I absolutely loved it. I think they played it very well. They had very clear ideas of how they wanted to get maximum value from that utility, and it seemed like they were doing it very well.
I mean, even a call out that the casters made during with this utility paired up with this Tejo was a couple of these little plays, even looking at the B site, being able to completely clear out calls, and just it seemed impossible to go up against at some point. So really, really well done there. And it's a Blue Otter. If they're going to be performing like this, I'm excited to see how they square off against the teams that have already claimed their spot in the playoffs. And just looking across the board at the performances, like obviously we've highlighted and we've talked about Zeldris and Bob a lot, but talking about a couple of other people and even like the people on core on the other end, Logan had a hell of a show. Both of the Sovas did actually, and a lot of really big util kills coming out too.
It was a great map, especially for the side of Blue Otter. I think everybody had their moments. Of course, we talked about Bob, we talked about Soldiers, but like as you're saying, I think everybody had the specific understanding on how they were supposed to play this map, especially as the standard composition that you see on the other side for core. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't really matter as much because you have a Logan that is fragging out, you have a Snarly as well that is getting some nice timings on the Lurk and managing to get a few kills. But when it comes to it, it just seems like Blue Otter were just one step ahead of what they needed to do to especially win the last couple of rounds, right? Because at some point I think it was 8-8, and then it was when they got ahead and closed it out.
Well, I mean, it was a great series, so I'm excited to have none other than Star Duelist Zeldris on the line to chat a little bit more in our post-match interview. I want to start off with an apology because I was like, Zeldris was doing so good. I want to talk to him. I forgot that Jen had spoken to you after your last victory, so thank you for interviewing twice. But the team now officially in playoffs. Great 2-0 series. How do you feel?
I feel good. Honestly, super confident. We played well today, and we meet our expectations, so I'm super happy.
This series, even though it was just a 2-map series, it had all of us on the edge of our seats. This was just kind of so back and forth. And this first map especially was just so chaotic. There was 6 thrifties overall. I want to know then, going into that, knowing that there was just this chaos, how you as a team even adapt to those situations.
Any timeouts from both teams. I guess we just really talked it out and kind of figured out the gaps that they had and, took advantage of it. So it's kind of as simple as that.
I like in all the chaos that it's just like the simplest answer to be able to close out. And going into the second map too, something that we kind of thought would cause a little bit of difficulties with core was this Killjoy, especially to Bob's playing a lot of Tejo for this team. Do you think that it was just like more so this composition difference that was like the difference maker for you guys, or something else coming on the map to close it out?
I would say the comp difference is definitely plays a little bit of a factor because obviously we know Tejo is way better against Killjoy. So I think that, and just, the game was really back and forth, but I think in the end we, found the reads and we kind of capitalized off of them. So that's what led us to winning.
That's fair. That's fair. And last but not least, you're going up against your old squad, old teammates, Snarly and Nerve there. So I want to know thoughts about that.
I love those guys. There'll always be, players in my heart, but at the end of the day, we're both competing, so gotta win.
They still have an opportunity to try and make it to playoffs, but today, Blue Otter were the one to claim the spot. Zeldris, I'll let you get some rest. Congratulations yet again. Have a good night, okay?
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Back over to the desk for us. I wanted to ask Roy about like the thoughts of like the desk and the analysts and all that, saying that he is like the default duelist, like he is. But I was like, I don't know like how I can convey this in a way that it doesn't sound like bad when like it's intended to be a good thing, right? Like it's a compliment.
Yeah, when we say that, we're just like referencing like what Riot had in mind when they were like developing and like making these like characters, right? Like essentially you have these characters that are very movement heavy. They want to see them be going in, making space, having this like super flashy like play style, and that's what we're referring to. We're not calling him like no personality, no like nothing of show, right? We're just more so referencing the fact that they're playing the characters almost like how they were designed, so they're like the default duelist archetype. And in my head, it's a positive thing. Maybe it comes off as a negative thing when we're talking about it, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing, I swear.
Yeah, it's only positive stuff coming out from the desk here and the casters about Zeldris, and about this team, because Blue Otter, with that, taking a look over at the bracket, that is officially their 4th win here in a split one of Challengers, which means that they have gotten their playoff spot. There is still one more day this week, though, Dan, and 3 matches tomorrow. 2 that we'll be covering here on the main broadcast, 1 on the side stream. 3 more teams that are looking to get those final spots.
It's I love, can I say, I actually do love this format because I think the fact that we didn't even know if we were going to have a third match until we saw YFP lose today, I think it's amazing. It just makes things really even. You don't know until the very, very end. And I feel like predictions for tomorrow, I'm going to be stressed out a little bit.
I'm stressed out for these teams and the resolutions. Like, to be noting that these 6 teams, that it's not on the same line for them facing off against each other. We'll get the official confirmation later on how it's all falling apart. But to think that YFP, to think that M80, there's the possibility that they're not making it to playoffs, Rory, is crazy.
Yeah, right? I mean, yeah, you're absolutely correct. The fact that they're just fighting for their lives right here in this round 7 is absolutely insane. But honestly, I also want to give a shout out to Winthrop University. That's personally not a team that I had making it this far and doing this well throughout the season, but they've actually shown up. They're performing equally as well as QOR, as M80, as YFP. So shout out to Winthrop University.
Yeah, and it's the final opportunity for these teams that maybe we didn't expect the most of going into the split to really show us that improvement that they've had and that they're definitely worthy of being one of those teams to make it to playoffs and try and contend for those ascension points. Because, of course, that is the most important piece at the end of all of this, looking at ascension. But one more day of Valorant Challengers this week, and that's unfortunately it for us all today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Y'all for crushing it. Production for crushing it. We'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.
They can hide behind, gets cleared, still guarded, distracted, almost crosshair placement broken as Chaotic drops in again. Yet another opener. There's 3 rounds in a row, and you've got to be winning these. Trust in Plug, send their duelists on a collision course with YFP, and they are not ready for it. It's a gate crash out there for Penny, but not before they took the kill. Mike is low. The site, though, does belong to Trust in Plug. Physics going looking, and Mike spots him out. Penny just takes the swing. My goodness! The use of those salvos. Nobody stood in them right now, and Mikey's going to have to get busy. Flash through the smoke out. We come! Sacred! Fights 4 in the round!
Uphill battle.
Right, paranoia timing there. Now this aftershock is going to make it even harder. Armageddon denying anybody from getting to the side, and Thief has all of the options played out before him. 2 players asking to get hammered. Make it 4. Beautifully done by Thief. Late backstab, up and to make use of the Astral Wall now. It's expired. So the B-main position from Zeldris is once again relevant, and Nerve is very low. Spotted out early. Here's the steel guarded. Bob gonna fall. It's an opportunity now for QOR to come in for a defuse. Mystique has the shorty in the smoke. 1 shot, not enough as Zeldris comes. Aldrone here, Zeldris sees it, has to respect it. Stays posted up. Tail window, gonna get them out when they start to get contact. Another shot, God, the audacity! 3 posts up on the angle for Zeldris, and Bob is gonna be there to follow it up. Here comes the Armageddon, and he's going to force QOR out into a very awkward position, and Zeldris, so they can hide behind, gets clear.